Welcome to the program. This is our first episode of 2023, and wishing you a happy new year. And so we've got Meb with us today, as well as Inna Ushakova. Happy New Year to both of you.
Thank you. Happy New
Yeah,
Year.
Happy New Year. Yes.
All right. Today we want to talk about security, and specifically security at the edge and how that plays out in the whole ecosystem from edge to clouds. And we've invited a special guest here, an expert on the matter with Inna. So Inna, welcome. Could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'm co-founder and CEO at Scalarr, the company behind AI EdgeLabs, which does edge and IoT cybersecurity. So I'm being responsible for the whole company execution, and I also perform as a product owner, being responsible for vision and development roadmap. Our company is listed among top 30 deep tech startups by Forbes in Ukraine, and at the same time, I'm honored to be among top 5 finalists of Women in the Edge of the Year. Altogether with that, I'm mom, Ukrainian, proud daughter to my parents, happily married, involved in cybersecurity.
All right. Wow.
Awesome.
That's quite a resume. And I understand you're not in Ukraine anymore. You've relocated, and your team is all over. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, right. I needed to relocate to the US because of the war, and everything that is happening in Ukraine is very sad story. At the same time, just like it gives you a lot of, it's very strange. It sounds very strange, but it gives you a lot of possibilities and opportunities just because like you have this ability to reevaluate your whole life and actually the values that you followed. And you have this opportunity to concentrate on really, important things. So
Right.
like worry is very like difficult thing to experience, right? Just because it's really very life-changing experience in many aspects, but at the same time it gives you this like 100% focus on the right things.
It's amazing that coming to the US, you're actually able to continue your business, thrive with some new customers, continue to develop the use cases that you're pursuing, and you're now unleashing new opportunities for Scalarr and for the customers that you serve, enabling them to address security on the edge.
Yeah, I mean, just like this is something that I should do, right? Just when you have a startup, you should develop it. You should gain the success with your product. You should serve your clients, provide the best service possible. So I would say that from many points, like we've been a distributed team, remote team for a couple of years already. So with that, actually, we were a little bit prepared just because I thought that if war happens, we need to relocate a lot of personnel, and we did that. So right now, the major part of our team are in very safe locations with constant, access to the internet and ability to work. And at the same time, there is like huge motivation to get even more, to not only to achieve the goals but overachieve them, just because we take even bigger responsibility, just because it's not only about the business that you run, it's also about your people that are dependent on you, their families that dependent on your workers. And actually Ukraine as the whole country, just because you need to pay taxes there, you need to support the economy, which is like struggling right now a lot because of all those, just like carpet shelling, uh, a lot of losses on the fields, etc. And you need you do understand that you bear just like much bigger responsibility that it was before. So you don't have any choice as to fight, right? And you need to gain success, otherwise you will lose. And this, it's not only about you or ambitions, your ambitions. It's about many things.
I've seen this focus and this desire, really strong desire to deliver and make things happen in working together with Ina and her team. And yeah, it's actually very impressive to witness from our vantage point, right? Being in the comfort of Switzerland, where we are, actually working together has been great. And sometimes I even forget, right, that there's all this crazy madness happening in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Let's, Ina,
Thank you.
if
Thank
you
you, Matt.
agree,
Thank you.
Ina and Mev, if you agree, let's talk about the problem being addressed by Scalarr, that security challenge that organizations have at the edge. Could you talk to us about the problem that you solve, that Scalarr solves, Ina?
Yeah, sure. So actually, let me just give you a couple of words about AI EdgeLabs, um, just to give our listeners and watchers the understanding of the product. So first of all, AI EdgeLabs is an innovative AI-based XDR platform, and the major goal is to secure edge and connected IoT devices, right? So it does a lot of things. It does early signal detection and protection from any threat and attack in real time by ensuring autonomous incident response and remediation, which is very important. And we keep basically security teams additionally with asset discovery, malware protection, next-gen firewall capabilities, along with some SOAR elements. So it's huge, very complex product itself. And when we started thinking about this product, first of all, we were looking into helping our clients to significantly decrease the number of downtimes and outages, as well as data leakage by introducing automation to cybersecurity. So the product itself is very complex end-to-end with a lot of automation inside, including incident response and remediation. And it designed in the way that it can work directly on the edge or IoT gateway and secure all the assets that are in the embedded edge IoT network.
Meb, when engaging with Scalar and EdgeLab, what was your thought? What did you find in Scalar as a unique value to the approach that you have?
We share this vision of being edge first as opposed to cloud first. And because we realize that the edge is a new frontier in many ways, and because that's where all the richness is, because that's where the data is, right? That's what matters. Then it needs to be defended, right? And therefore, it only made sense for us to look for an app vendor when we created the marketplace and the app vendor program, that could actually provide this simple solution that we can put in Nuvla in order to scale very rapidly to all the edge devices that our customers are managing with the platform, in order to have this simple yet um, universal, if you want, cyber defense strategy for the edge, independently if you're landing in a retail, a transport, a logistics, a manufacturing environment. The job of cyber defense, and I don't want to oversimplify what the AI Edge Labs does, but from in first approximation, right, the defending that the edge frontier is similar across those verticals. Now, the details of it is of course different, and this is where Ina and her team kick in. But it allows us to provide a solution, a generic solution that will work for all of those verticals that are focusing at the edge and want to defend basically that new frontier.
Excellent. Ina, could you give us an example of some use cases, either of existing customers or pursuits that you're going after right now?
Yeah, sure. One of our clients is huge oil and gas company with the headquarters in Middle East. So they have a lot of fuel stations across, I would say, the world, just because like they serve on not only Middle East, so they have some other locations where they work. And on those fuel locations, they have a lot of edge and various kinds of IoT devices that do different things, starting from, just like edge-based computer vision technologies to improve safety and monitor the equipment to prevent like some lifetime failures, just like and basically ensure like automation and standardization, processing payments, processing how much like fuel should be pumped, etc. So with that, actually, it was very critical for them to have very holistic, centralized like tool to monitor everything what is going on there. Just because fuel stations are very like they very often located remotely that don't have a lot of staff there, including operational specialists like that can do everything if something happens. So it was very important for them to have automation and security too because of that. And it's from my point of view, it's like ideal use case which shows our capabilities just because like firstly, there is still some constraint limitations on those environments, right? I mean, just like edges in fuel stations, just because a lot of applications, a lot of processes are done there. So you cannot actually digest a lot of resources, a lot of CPU from that edge to prevent or, just like to interrupt those applications for doing the major part of the job. But at the same time, you should be able to deliver your solution to those like multiple thousands of locations immediately and provide immediate like insights, real-time insights on what is going on, just because it's like the element of critical infrastructure and automation, which actually helps our client, just like to prevent any kind of threats and attacks, considering the fact that they really have people shortage and they lack resources, human resources on the site. Right? So it's one of the use cases.
I think what's
Let's
really
Yep.
really key here, and again, you see it in many verticals, is as more and more operations become distributed, right? Business continuity becomes a real issue, right? And the fact that those this sort of shared edge infrastructure that is responsible for hosting a number of functional applications, whether it's video analytics or helping warehousing management or monitoring equipment and so on. Whenever there is a discontinuity in those functional elements, because they're so remote and there's no technical staff available to help this, then any discontinuity following, for example, a successful cyber attack has a disproportional impact on the activity of the business, right? Um, and therefore, not only it needs to be all of those points need to be defended, but it needs to be very simple and scalable to actually, deploy the right defense at the right place. As the edge is a fluid frontier, it changes all the time, and this is where it's critical to be able to adapt the defense strategy to that very agile layer in the infrastructure of many companies that are distributed in this fashion.
Yeah, and that's
Ex-
because of that you need AI, really, right? It's just like it's one of the core things in our solution, and I think the same is about SixSq, right? That with all of that said, you need very like advanced technology to be able to do this. So in our case, it's AI. In our case, it's like combination of various machine learning models and reinforcement learning, which makes decision making what should be done if anything happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And to make this possible, you really need, we're gone are the time where you do an update once or twice a year, right? Now we're in a much more fluid way of getting the learning done and distributed, and this process needs to be also secured and trusted at scale, and that's where I think there's a great complementarity between what we do in order to deliver that unique setting proposition to customers.
Inna, what makes Scalarr unique to the customers that choose to engage with you in a partnership?
We designed our solution to be very simple and lightweight, very flexible to cover multiple of use cases. And we consider it's very important just because distributed networks are not homogeneous, and they very often have very ever evolving nature of topology. A lot of new devices can be added, right? So you need to be adaptive to that. Um, we provide real-time insights, which is very important for the edge, just because everything goes in real time. Like the edge is basically designed to provide real-time insights. So it means that as a security solution to secure the edge, these critical assets, you should do also everything in real time, right? You don't have any, you cannot allow any delays in response. At the same time, um, edge and IoT networks, they are very complex, and just like you need like basically end-to-end solution again, which is designed fully for the specifics of those networks. And these solutions should include a lot of functionalities, various kinds of functionality like IDS, IPS, EDR functionality. I would say advanced EDR functionality, firewall functionality, etc. And everything should be software designed, just because like if you dependent on the hardware, that would be basically a huge limit for scale, right? At the same time, we preserve zero trust approach, right? So we don't trust anything. And this is very important. Again, just because Edge and IoT, those networks are characterized by like huge extended surface of attack, right? And with that, you need some very sophisticated advanced approach, which will guarantee you the accuracy of detection and response.
So, Inna, what is happening right now in the markets in terms of cyber threats at the edge that you see, and what are you focused on?
So when it comes to the edge threats, we see that there is like increasing number of them. Very often, threats stay uncovered for more than 280 days, right? And as edge IoT networks have very extended surface network, we need to consider that you have like the edge can be attacked directly and it can be attacked through IoT, right? And I would say that 60% of all attacks happening right now through IoT devices. And that means another thing, that those attacks are pretty complex. Those attacks should be called like zero-day attacks. And with that, actually, you need very advanced approach to uncover all those attacks, right? So we utilize a combination of AI and which is very important to deal with such kind of the attacks. Like we utilize both supervised and unsupervised machine learning in combination with reinforcement learning, one of the most intelligent area of AI right now. But with AI goes another, just like another difficulty, that AI to perform really efficiently along the way, it should be updated and retrained from time to time. So with that, actually, SixSq is really helpful, just because we can push those updates automatically without any, just like without any interruption of the services. And that's very important for the client, just because with that, they can be sure that they have very updated security solution that really able to tackle all various threats and attacks, and it suggests very advanced approach.
Meb, What trends do you see in the market? You talked about some different applications for different industries and use cases. How do you see that
Yeah, I mean,
value?
we see echoes of exactly the same thing as you just said. The attacks are happening. They're becoming more and more sophisticated. Static solutions don't cut it anymore, right? So that's why we're excited to have AI EdgeLabs on board, because it provides this AI-driven solution that continues to learn, right? And every time you encounter a new scenario, then that's part of the knowledge base that you grow and our customers ultimately benefit from. So our ability to push those updates regularly to make sure that every node is defended, for this wide and growing number of scenarios, is really interesting, and that's what customers want, right? They want to be able to know that as the bad guys are becoming sophisticated, then the defense, right, the good guys are also sophisticated, and I think that's what we get as a combination of our technologies.
Inna Ushakova, CEO of Scalarr, Marc-Elian Bégin, CEO of SixSq. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.